Your sister called security to throw me out of her lavish wedding. You're not family anymore, she sneered. Little did she know, her smug smile wouldn't last. The crystal champagne flute trembled in my hand as I watched my sister glide down the aisle. Her wedding dress cost more than my annual salary. My presence here was a mistake, I knew it. The moment I caught my mother's icy stare from the front row. Eden. That's me. The uninvited sister. The family disappointment who dared to show up at Brock's perfect society wedding. I sank lower in my seat at the back of the grand ballroom, praying the elaborate floral arrangements would shield me from further hostile glances. Can you believe she had the nerve to come? A whisper drifted from 2 rows ahead. After what happened with the clinic. I squeezed Ben's hand beside me. My husband squeezed back, his silent support the only thing keeping me from fleeing. Our 7-year-old daughter, Lily, fidgeted in her finest dress, oblivious to the tension crackling in the air like the calm before a storm. The string quartet transitioned into the wedding march. Brock reached the altar, where her fiancé, Dean, awaited. Perfect. Both of them, perfect as a postcard. Father beamed, radiating pride as he gave her away, the same father who told me 10 years ago that I was dead to him. If anyone objects to this union, speak now or forever hold your peace. The words barely left the officiant's lips before Mother rose, her designer heels clicking against the marble as she turned to face the crowd. Her gaze locked onto mine. I apologize, everyone, but we have an unwelcome guest who needs to leave. Her voice echoed clearly in the hushed room. Eden, you were explicitly told you were not welcome at family events. This is a private ceremony. 200 faces turned towards me. Lily cringed beside me. Mommy, why is Grandma mad? Brock's perfectly painted lips curled into a sneer. Security. Please escort my ex-sister out. She's trying to ruin my special day, like always. Ex-sister. Lily's small voice cracked. But Aunt Brock, I'm not your aunt, dear. Brock's words sliced through the air. Your mother forfeited the right to call herself family years ago when she betrayed us all. 2 security guards materialized beside our row. Ryan stood, putting himself between them and me. We're leaving. No need to use force. How dare you bring a child into this mess? Mother's voice dripped venom. Trying to manipulate us with an innocent child? You haven't changed a bit. My cheeks burned as we pushed past the bewildered guests, Lily's hand trembling in mine. The whispers followed us like poison darts. Always the troublemaker. Such a shame, what she did to her poor parents. That poor little girl, having her for a mother. At the ballroom doors, I paused and turned. Brock stood triumphant at the altar, father and mother flanking her like proud sentinels. The perfect family portrait, minus the black sheep daughter they'd erased. Congratulations, Brock, my voice rang out clearly in the sudden silence. I hope your marriage is built on more honest foundations than the rest of your life. Her smile faltered for just an instant. Good. Let her wonder what I know. In the lobby, Lily burst into tears. Why don't they like us, Mommy? I held her tight, meeting Ben's worried gaze over her head. He knew what this meant. The careful peace I'd maintained for years had shattered. They'd forced my hand, humiliating me in front of my daughter. Some people, sweetheart, aren't capable of real love. I stroked her hair, my resolve hardening with each sob. But that's about to change. 10 years I'd stayed away, swallowing their lies. 10 years watching Brock build her perfect life on stolen dreams and buried secrets. But seeing my daughter cry, that was the final straw. They wanted to talk about betrayal? Fine. Time to show them what real betrayal looked like. I had nothing left to lose and everything to prove. Game on, dear sister. Game on. The drive home from Brock's wedding felt endless. Lily had fallen asleep in the back seat, the tracks of tears still visible on her cheeks. Ben's knuckles were white on the steering wheel, and the silence stretched between us like a rubber band about to snap. You shouldn't have gone, he finally said, his voice low so as not to wake Lily. We talked about this. I scrolled through my phone screen. where dozens of social media notifications blinked about the incident. They made my daughter cry, Ben. Our daughter. And whose fault is that? You knew exactly what would happen. He took the exit for our neighborhood, his jaw tight. Did you want it to happen? The accusation hit harder than I expected. Maybe because there was a sliver of truth to it. Right now, I did. Pull over, I said. Empty parking lot ahead. I got out, needing air that wasn't thick with unspoken words. The night air was cool against my flushed skin as I paced between the faded lines of the lot. Ben followed, leaving the car running for Lily. Talk to me. What's really going on? Did you see her face? The way she looked at me. My laugh sounded brittle. Perfect Brock with her perfect lies. Do you know what she told everyone about why I was disowned? You never wanted to talk about it before. She told them I stole from the clinic. Embezzled money meant for patient care. The words tasted like acid. Meanwhile, she's working there now, right alongside father. Probably, I stopped, remembering that Ben didn't know everything. Not yet. He stepped closer, concern etched in his features. Probably what? My phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. I know what really happened 10 years ago. Meet me tomorrow, 2 p.m., Carson Street Coffee. Eden. Ben's hand on my shoulder made me jump. What are you telling me? I showed him the message. His expression darkened. It could be a trap. Your family. Maybe it's not my family. I turned back towards the car. Someone at the clinic knows something. Someone who was there when it all went down. And you're just going to meet this mystery person? After what happened today? He gripped my arm. Think about Lily. Think about us. I am thinking about us. I pulled away gently. That's why I need to do this. They humiliated our daughter, Ben. Made her question everything about who she is, who I am. So this isn't about revenge. This is about the truth. I looked at Lily sleeping through the car window. Peaceful despite everything. Brock built her entire life on lies. The clinic, her marriage to Dean, her reputation, all built on the ruins of what she took from me. Ben ran a hand through his hair, a gesture I recognized from a decade of marriage. He was worried, but he was listening. What exactly are you planning? Nothing. Yet. But if someone is finally willing to speak. I held his gaze steadily. I need to know if you're with me. Really with me. Not just watching from the sidelines while I fight this battle alone. He was quiet for a long moment, studying me. You're different tonight. There's something in your eyes I haven't seen before. Maybe because I'm finally seeing things clearly. I stepped closer, taking his hands. Remember when we first met? You said I carried too many ghosts. I was right. But they weren't ghosts, Ben. They were monsters wearing my family's faces. And I let them haunt me for far too long. A car drove past, its headlights washing over us. In that brief illumination, I saw understanding dawn in Ben's expression. He pulled me into a fierce hug. I'm with you, he whispered against my hair. But let's do this smart. Let's do this right. No more impromptu confrontations. Agreed. I inhaled his familiar scent, drawing strength from his solid presence. Tomorrow, at the coffee shop. Come with me. Watch from a distance. Make sure it's not a trap. Of course. He pulled back, cupping my face in his hands. But Eden, promise me something. Whatever happens, whatever we learn, we protect Lily first. Always. Always, I agreed, even as a part of me whispered that protection sometimes meant fighting back. Sometimes it meant burning it all down to build something better from the ashes. In the car, Lily stirred slightly, murmuring in her sleep. Watching her, I felt my resolve harden to steel. Brock and my parents thought they could shame me into disappearing again. Instead, they'd given me exactly what I needed, a reason to stop running and start fighting back. Tomorrow, I would meet my mysterious messenger. Tomorrow, I would start gathering the kindling needed to set this whole facade ablaze. But tonight, I would hold my daughter close and remember why the truth mattered more than any comfortable lie. Carson Street Coffee buzzed with the usual afternoon crowd when I spotted her. Sarah Chin, the former bookkeeper from the family clinic, hunched over a laptop in the corner. Ben caught my eye from his position at the counter, silent confirmation that he was watching. I slid into the seat across from Sarah. Her fingers trembled slightly as she closed her laptop. I wasn't sure you'd come. 10 years is a long time to keep quiet. I kept my voice neutral, though my pulse quickened. Why now? She glanced around nervously. Your sister's wedding. It was all over social media. When I saw what they did to you, she pulled out a USB drive. There's something you need to see. The drive felt impossibly heavy in my palm. What's on it? Financial records from before you left. Sarah leaned forward, lowering her voice. Your father didn't just frame you for embezzlement, Eden. He actively covered up Brock's mistakes. Huge ones. My coffee arrived, Ben's subtle way of staying close. Sarah flinched at his approach. The patient death in 2013, she continued once he'd moved away. Remember? How could I forget? A terminal cancer patient who died after receiving an experimental treatment. The investigation had cleared the clinic, but what about it? Brock administered the wrong dosage. She wasn't qualified. Hadn't even completed her medical training. Your father buried it. Paid off the family. Sarah's words hit like physical blows. Used the money he accused you of stealing. The coffee cup rattled against the saucer as I set it down. Do you have proof? Everything's on that drive, including proof that Brock never finished medical school. The credentials she uses at the clinic, all falsified. My throat tightened. Why didn't you come forward then? Your father threatened my family. My daughter was sick. I needed the insurance. Shame stained her face. But she's older now. And I saw what happened at the wedding, the way they still hurt you. My phone vibrated. A message from Brock. Having coffee with someone interesting? I looked up sharply. Through the window, I caught a glimpse of Ben's car pulling away. They were watching me. Sarah noticed my reaction. Panic edged into her voice. I shouldn't have, it's okay. I stood, offering her my arm. Let my husband take you home. Ben reappeared instantly, reading the situation. As he escorted Sarah out, I texted Brock back, simply, just catching up with old friends. How's married life? Her reply was immediate. Stay away from Sarah Chen. Some stories should stay buried. I tucked the USB drive into my pocket, my mind racing. Another message arrived, from father this time. My office. 1 hour. Come alone or Sarah loses everything. The threat was clear, but something was different now. The tremor in my hands wasn't fear, it was anticipation. At the clinic, father's secretary tried to stop me. I brushed past her, striding into his office, where Brock waited. That was quick, Brock said, but her usual smugness wavered. Enough games. I faced father across his desk. You want to threaten Sarah? Go ahead. But first, explain something to me. How many other patients did Brock kill? The color drained from his face. Brock stepped forward. You don't know what you're talking about. 2013, terminal cancer patient. Wrong dosage. Ring any bells? I watched their reactions. Or how about, you've clearly lost your mind, father began, but I cut him off. Funny thing about buried secrets. Someone always keeps receipts. I pulled out my phone, playing the recording of my conversation with Sarah. I wonder what the medical board would think. Brock lunged for my phone. I dodged easily, watching her carefully constructed facade crack. You're bluffing. Try me. I held father's gaze. You destroyed my life to protect her. Framed me for theft. Erased me from the family. All to cover up her mistakes. I did what was necessary. His voice was ice. Brock had potential. You were always difficult. Difficult? I laughed, the sound sharp enough to make them both flinch. I was the only one telling the truth. And now I have proof. What do you want? Brock demanded. I moved towards the door, pausing with my hand on the knob. Want? I want you both to know what's coming. Every lie, every cover-up, every patient you put at risk. It's all coming out. And this time I smiled, feeling decades of pain crystallize into purpose. This time, I'm not the one who's disappearing. Their protests followed me out, but I didn't look back. In my pocket, the USB drive held enough truth to reduce their perfect world to ashes. Let them try to stop me. I wasn't that scared little girl anymore. I was the one they should fear. The contents of the USB drive spilled across my laptop screen. Financial records, falsified credentials, patient histories. Each document added another brick to the wall of evidence against my family, but it was a chain of emails between mother and father that made my hands tremble. You need to see this. I swiveled the screen towards Ben, who'd been pacing restlessly in our home office. He leaned in, scanning the text. His jaw tightened. They knew about the other patients? 3 more deaths. My voice sounded distant, even to my own ears. All covered up. All blamed on equipment malfunctions or natural causes. The doorbell rang. Through the window, I saw Dean's expensive car in our driveway. Ben moved towards the door, but I caught his arm. Let me handle this. Dean looked nothing like the confident man from Brock's wedding. His tie was loose, dark circles under his eyes. We need to talk, Eden. I led him into the kitchen, deliberately choosing not to offer him anything. He fiddled with his wedding ring. Brock told me what you have. What I have? Who's offering you what? The medical board. Investigators. He ran a hand through his messy hair. They contacted me yesterday. Asked about inconsistencies in Brock's credentials. My pulse quickened, but I kept my expression neutral. I haven't spoken to any investigators. Don't lie to me. His voice cracked. I know what she did. What they all did. I've been going over the clinic records since the wedding, and I can't. He swallowed hard. I have proof too. Things even you don't know. But if this comes out, it won't just destroy Brock and your parents. There are other people involved. Good people who were just following orders. My phone vibrated. A message from an unknown number. Your daughter's school just received an anonymous tip about possible abuse in your home. Social services has been notified. The room tilted slightly. Dean noticed my reaction. They're desperate, he said quietly. They'll do anything to keep this quiet. They're threatening my daughter. The words came out like shards of ice. Let me help you, Dean pleaded. I can get you enough money to disappear. Start over somewhere else. Just hand over the evidence. Ben appeared in the doorway, his presence reassuring. I think you should go. Don't you understand? Dean stood up. They won't stop. My father's already pulling strings with the local authorities. They'll fabricate evidence against you, Eden. They'll take Lily away from you. My voice didn't tremble. Tell my sister and my parents they just made their biggest mistake. After he left, Ben held me as I trembled not with fear, but with a cold rage that threatened to consume me. We have to move fast, he said. If they're involving Lily, I pulled away, going to my laptop. We're not running. Call your sister. The one at the newspaper. It's time everyone knew exactly who the Millers really are. Eden, they'll play dirty. I picked up my phone, dialing Sarah's number. But they forgot something important. What? I held his worried gaze. They taught me how to destroy someone's life. Now they'll see how well I paid attention. Sarah answered on the first ring. Eden, they're here. The police. With a warrant. Upload everything. Now. Every file, every record, every piece of evidence. Send it to the email I gave you. Trust me. I hung up, turning to Ben. Call the school. Pick up Lily. Then call every reporter your sister knows. In an hour, the Miller family clinic is going to be front-page news. This is it. Ben studied my face. There's no going back from this. I thought of Lily, innocent and precious, now a target in their desperate game. Of Sarah, probably being arrested right now. Of every patient who died because of Brock's lies and my parents' cover-ups. They chose this path. I began typing, preparing the email that would detonate my family's carefully constructed world. I was just making sure they wrote it all the way down. As I hit send, watching hundreds of damning documents fly into the inboxes of dozens of media outlets, I felt something shift inside me. The scared daughter who craved approval died. In her place rose someone stronger, forged in betrayal and tempered by righteous fury. Let them come for me. I was ready. The headlines exploded across every local news outlet by morning. Miller Family Clinic under investigation. Multiple deaths linked to fraudulent doctor. Prominent family faces criminal charges. I watched the clinic parking lot from my car, counting the reporters swarming like hungry sharks. Mother emerged first, perfectly composed until the camera flashes blinded her. She stumbled, the mask slipping for just an instant. My phone hadn't stopped buzzing. Missed calls from unknown numbers. Messages ranging from threats to desperate pleas. I ignored them all, waiting. Finally, Brock appeared, with Dean trailing behind her. Even from this distance, I could see she'd been crying. A knock on my window startled me. Ben stood outside, his expression grim. I rolled down the window. The medical board just arrived, he said. And Eden. Sarah's dead. The world stopped. What? Car accident last night. They're calling it a suicide. My hands gripped the steering wheel until my knuckles turned white. When? Just after the police left her house. Ben's voice dropped. Eden, there's more. The evidence she uploaded. Most of it's corrupted. They got to the servers somehow. A bitter laugh escaped me. Of course they did. We should go home. This isn't safe. Mrs. Collins. A reporter spotted me, and suddenly they were all running towards my car. I started the engine, but not before catching Brock's expression as she realized I was there. For a moment, our gazes locked across the parking lot. She mouthed something. Not a threat, not a plea, just 2 words. I'm sorry. The drive home was silent. Ben kept glancing at me, waiting for a breakdown that didn't come. Sarah's death should have devastated me. Should have made me question everything. Instead, it hardened something inside me. We found Mother sitting in our living room. How did you get in? Ben demanded, stepping protectively in front of me. I raised her. Mother's voice was eerily calm. I still have her spare key from when she was a girl. Out, I said, but she held up a hand, revealing a familiar USB drive. Looking for this? She placed it on the coffee table. Your father sends his regards, by the way. He's meeting with the board right now, explaining how his troubled daughter fabricated evidence to destroy her sister out of jealousy. Sarah is dead. She didn't even blink. Tragic. Depression's a terrible thing. You killed her. Prove it. She stood, smoothing her expensive skirt. Like you'll have to prove all your other accusations, now that the evidence has disappeared. Your father's lawyers are very good at their jobs. Ben stepped forward, but I caught his arm. Let her talk. We're willing to be generous, Eden. Mother's smile didn't reach her eyes. Leave town. Take your family somewhere far away. We'll provide enough money to start over. She paused. Or stay and watch everything you love burn. She moved towards the door. Lily, such a sweet little girl. It would be terrible if social services found evidence of abuse. Or if Ben's newspaper suddenly discovered financial irregularities in their records. You're threatening a child. Ben's voice shook with fury. Your own granddaughter. I'm protecting my family. Mother paused at the door. You have 24 hours to decide. Choose wisely. After she left, Ben held me as I trembled, not with fear, not with grief, but with a cold fury that threatened to consume me. We can't let them win, he whispered. We won't. I pulled away, going to my laptop. Sarah might be gone, but she wasn't the only one with evidence. Eden, they killed her. They'll destroy us. If we run. My fingers flew across the keyboard, accessing encrypted files I'd been compiling for weeks. But they forgot something important about cornered animals. What? I turned the screen towards him, showing dozens of audio recordings, surveillance photos, and backed-up documents, a parallel investigation I'd been running alongside Sarah's. They fight hardest when they have nothing left to lose. I began drafting emails, addressing them to every major media outlet in the country. Mother wanted to play games with my daughter's safety? Fine. Let's see how she liked it when the whole world knew exactly what kind of monster she really was. This could backfire spectacularly, Ben warned. Probably. I hit send, watching the emails disappear into cyberspace. But I was done playing by their rules. The first national news alert hit my phone minutes later. The war had begun. And this time, I wasn't fighting to expose the truth. I was fighting to destroy them completely. The police arrived at 3 a.m. I watched from our bedroom window as they took Ben away, their accusations echoing in the silent street. Fraud, embezzlement, conspiracy. All fabricated. All perfectly designed to destroy him. Lily slept through it all, thank God. I stood in her doorway afterward, watching her peaceful breathing, knowing I'd caused this. My phone buzzed. Father's number. Satisfied? His voice conveyed decades of practiced authority. This is just the beginning, Eden. Walk away now, or tomorrow it will be your daughter's school calling with concerns about her home life. I hung up without speaking. My hands trembled as I packed Lily's overnight bag, clothes, her favorite stuffed animal, the photo album she loved. Ben's sister, Claire, arrived less than an hour later. It's just for a few days, I told Lily, who woke up confused and scared. Like a vacation with Aunt Claire. But what about Daddy? And you? I hugged her tight, breathing in her familiar scent. We'll fix it, I promise. After they left, the house felt like a tomb. I poured myself a drink, but before I could take a sip, someone pounded on the front door. Brock stood on my porch, mascara streaked down her face. They're going to kill you. What? I propelled myself past her, frantically checking windows and doors. I heard them talking. Father hired someone. They're making it look like a break-in gone wrong. Why are you telling me this? Because Sarah was my friend, too. Her voice cracked. And I can't have another death on my conscience. I studied my sister, really looked at her for the first time in years. The perfect facade had crumbled, revealing someone as broken as I was. Dean left me, she continued. The medical board revoked my license. Everything's falling apart, and they don't even care. They're only worried about protecting themselves. Like they always have been. She gripped my arm. You have to run. Now. Grab what you can, and headlights swept across the windows. Brock froze. They're here. Go out the back, I said, already moving towards my laptop. I need 2 minutes. Eden, go. While she slipped away, I rapidly uploaded everything I had to multiple secure servers. The front door splintered under heavy boots just as I hit send. 2 men entered, faces obscured, professional, clinical. I recognized the look, the same cold efficiency Father always praised in his business dealings. Mrs. Collins, the taller one, stepped forward slowly. This can be easy or difficult. Your choice. I backed away, buying seconds while the files uploaded. My father sends his regards. The Millers send their condolences for your tragic accident. A noise from the kitchen made them turn. Brock stood there, her phone held high. I'm streaming this. Live. The men hesitated. In that moment, I lunged for the front door, but the shorter man caught me. Pain exploded in my face as he hit me. Through a blurry vision, I saw Brock tackle him. Run. I stumbled out into the street, blood in my mouth, ears ringing. Behind me, glass shattered. A scream, Brock's? Mine? I wasn't sure. Neighbors' lights flickered on. A car screeched away somewhere. The men emerged from my house, walking unhurriedly towards their vehicle. Professionals to the end. I found Brock unconscious in my kitchen, her phone crushed nearby, but she was breathing. And as sirens wailed in the distance, she stirred. Did you? She murmured. The evidence? Yes. I helped her sit up, noticing the bruises already forming. Why did you come back? Because I remember, she touched her split lip gingerly. Before they turned us against each other. I remember when you were my big sister. And I I miss her. The sirens grew closer. Soon there would be questions, statements, more lies from our parents. Ben was still in jail. Lily was gone. Everything I'd built lay in ruins around me. But Brock's words echoed in my head. Big sister. Something shifted inside me. Not forgiveness, not yet, but understanding. We were both victims of our parents' manipulations, pitted against each other for their benefit. We have to finish this, I said, as the red and blue lights painted the walls of my kitchen. Not just expose them. Destroy them completely. Brock met my eyes, and for the first time in decades, I saw my sister instead of my enemy. Together. I took her hand, feeling the weight of all our shared scars and separate wounds. Together. The police arrived and found us like that, bloodied but unbowed, finally united against the true monsters of our story. Let our parents think they'd won. Their fantasy of a perfect family was about to become their worst nightmare. The Miller Family Clinic's annual charity gala became our battlefield. Brock and I moved through the crowd separately, watching our parents work the room as if nothing had happened. As if they hadn't tried to have me killed last week. Mrs. Collins. A board member clutched my arm, surprised to see me there, given the circumstances. I smiled, channeling Mother's perfect social mask. Wouldn't miss it. Across the room, Father took the podium. Welcome, everyone. Tonight, we celebrate 30 years of serving our community. Brock signaled from near the AV booth. Everything's ready. I checked my phone. Ben's lawyer confirmed the charges were being dropped. The real evidence of financial manipulation traced back to Father's accounts. And now, Father continued, I'd like to share a video highlighting our clinic's accomplishments. The lights dimmed, but instead of the planned presentation, security footage filled the screen. Father in his office, counting cash. Mother threatening Sarah. Patient records being altered. Each clip, dated, documented, damning. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Father fumbled with the microphone, but his voice was drowned out by the audio of him ordering the hit on me. Turn it off. Mother shrieked, but Brock kept the AV booth door locked. Why? I stepped forward, my voice ringing out in the stunned silence. Isn't this what we're celebrating? 30 years of fraud, corruption, and murder. Security. Father roared. But the officers I'd hired stood firm. They worked for me tonight. I approached the podium. Just like the private investigators who've been watching you. The forensic accountants tracing your bribes. The lawyers preparing cases for every family you've destroyed. Mother lunged for me, her carefully maintained composure shattering. Ungrateful, careful mother. Brock emerged from the crowd. The press is recording. Indeed, cameras flashed as reporters, anonymously invited, captured every moment. You planned this. Together. Father's face contorted with rage. My own daughters, your daughters. I laughed, the sound sharp as shattered glass. You tried to have me killed last week. Framed my husband. Threatened my daughter. Everything I did was to protect this family. He grabbed my arm, his fingers digging in painfully. Let her go. Brock's voice held steel. Or I tell them about Hassan. Father froze. What? The patient from 2011. Brock held his gaze steadily. The one whose death you blamed on an equipment malfunction. Except, it wasn't the equipment, was it? It was you, trying to cover up a mistake that would have cost you everything. You knew. Mother whispered. I found the real records. The ones you kept to blackmail the manufacturer. That's when I realized. You never protected me because you loved me. You did it because you needed someone under your control. Police officers entered the ballroom, real ones, this time. Father saw them and shoved me aside, trying to bolt for the exit. He didn't make it 3 steps before Dean, my unlikely ally, tripped him. Father went down hard, sprawling on the marble floor as handcuffs clicked into place. Mark Miller, the detective, read his rights as Mother screamed and fought against her own arrest. You're being charged with conspiracy to commit murder, fraud, the list went on, but I wasn't listening. I was watching my parents' perfect world crumble. their masks finally broken beyond repair. Brock touched my arm. "Are you okay?" I didn't watch as they dragged Mother away, still shrieking about ungrateful children. "I will be." "Eden," Father yelled, reaching the door. "You'll regret this. Everything we built was built on lies." I met his gaze one last time. "Goodbye, Father." Later, as the reporters swarmed and police gathered evidence, Brock and I sat in the empty ballroom. "What happens now?" she asked. "Ben comes home. The clinic gets new management. Our parents face justice." I studied my sister's profile, seeing both the girl she was and the woman she was becoming. "And we learn who we are without their shadow over us. Together." I took her hand, feeling decades of manipulation and rivalry begin to dissolve. "Together." "But first," I said, "I need to go home to my daughter." We walked out of the building one last time, leaving the wreckage of our parents' empire behind us. Their fantasy of a perfect family lay in ruins, but something real and honest might yet grow from the ashes. Sometimes, revenge wasn't about destroying everything. Sometimes, it was about clearing the ground so the truth could finally take root. The courtroom slowly emptied after the verdict. 25 years for father, 18 for mother. Justice served in cold, precise numbers. I remained seated, watching them being led away. Neither looked back at the daughters they'd broken and remade. Brock touched my shoulder. "Ready?" "Almost." I gathered my things, my fingers brushing against the locket Mother always wore, now entered into evidence its hidden compartment containing proof of bribes and threats. Outside, reporters waited with hungry cameras. Ben shielded Lily from their questions while Dean handled the press statement. My daughter's small hand found mine, anchoring me to what mattered most. "Aunt Brock says we're moving to the clinic house," Lily said as we walked towards the car. "The big one with the garden." "Yes." I exchanged a look with my sister. The irony wasn't lost on us. The family estate, bought with dirty money, now transformed into a recovery center for victims of medical malpractice. "But first," I said, "there's somewhere we need to go." We drove to Sarah's grave, where fresh flowers already rested against the headstone. A note from her daughter read, "Justice for Mommy." "I keep thinking," Brock said quietly, "about all the moments we could have chosen differently. All the times we could have helped each other, instead of becoming their weapons," I finished. She nodded. Lily placed her own flower, a dandelion plucked from a crack in the sidewalk. Simple. Pure. Everything our childhood wasn't. Back at the house, I found Ben in our study, poring over patient records from the clinic. "The board approved the restructuring," he said. "We can start accepting new cases next month." "And the trust fund, the one set up for the victims' families," he pulled me close. "You did it, Eden. You broke the cycle." But victory tasted different than I'd imagined. In my desk drawer, unopened, lay a letter from Mother, delivered by her lawyer after the sentencing. Beside it, Father's signet ring, returned by the evidence clerk. "What's wrong?" Ben asked, noticing my hesitation. "I thought revenge would feel like winning." I sank into a chair. "Instead, it feels like carrying their ghosts." A noise from the hallway caught our attention. Brock stood there, Dean behind her, both looking uncertain. "The contractor found something in the wall of Father's office," Dean said. "Hidden compartment. You should see this." The manila envelope he handed me contained photographs. Dozens of them. Brock and I, as little girls, captured in rare moments of sisterly affection, playing in the garden, sharing secrets, laughing. "He kept them," Brock whispered. "All this time, he kept proof that we were once real. Before they turned us into their perfect lies," I finished. "The last photo showed us on my 10th birthday, before everything changed, before competition and manipulation poisoned our bond. Two sisters, arms linked, facing the world together." "Eden," Lily called from downstairs. "Aunt Brock, the ice cream's melting." We shared a look, my sister and I, understanding passing between us without words. We couldn't get those innocent little girls in the photographs back, but perhaps we could honor them by protecting the next generation from similar scars. Coming, sweetheart, I called back, putting the photos away, not hidden this time, but preserved. A reminder,